Hello, Huskies back again with more Chicago Blackhawks GM mode franchise mode commentary. Last video we had a really good start, kind of cooled off, and then I traded some hometown favorites, or I traded one hometown favorite in particular. I traded Marian Hossa for David Pastrnak, and I traded Mark McNeil to bring back Teuvo Teravainen. Now, both Pastrnak and Teravainen are going to have to be re-signed at the end of the year, along with like 9 other players. But I have significantly more cap space. I still have to trade Marcus Kruger, right? I'm going to go back to the screen because I'm silly and didn't notice. Fairly certain I still have to, so I still have to trade Kruger. But I'll worry about that probably at the draft, or even once free agency comes around, because all I want for him is like a draft pick. I don't necessarily need to replace him. But yeah, I'm interested to see what's our morale. I keep going to screens I don't want to. So we have 79% locker room chemistry. I think it was 84 before I made those deals. But Teravainen was a former Hawk. I've seen other GM modes run where bringing Teravainen back really helps morale. I mean, our first line is a point per game. I mean, our Duncan Keith is leading the team in points. A 3rd round pick for Norrell. 7th defenseman. 21 years old, you're not going to get to anything. So a 3rd round pick, absolutely. Keep giving me things that I can trade. So I traded Matt Hendricks, huh? That's an interesting offer because Matt Hendricks isn't a terrible player. He's 35. He's got 1 year left. But if I were to sign him, that means Rasmussen is probably the guy that gets odd man out. He has a -1 on a decent Oilers team. Now, I'm going to pass on that. He wouldn't be a bad addition. I should probably manually do this, since it's going to mess up my first line. I also decided to put Nick Schmaltz in the minors, because he just wasn't. I don't think having him in the NHL is worth it right now. So him spending the year in the AHL isn't going to hurt him. Alexander Burrows, fuck off. Absolutely not. Oh, and when we brought in Pastrnak, he was a point per game player on Boston. Now, I think I mentioned that in Boston he was probably playing with Bergeron and Marchand. I'm assuming that's why he would be a point per game player, because he's got good stats, don't get me wrong, but they're not point per game player stats. But if he wants to prove me wrong, and oh, he's injured with a pulled groin, great. God damn it. Alright, so I guess we'll put Panik on the second line, and I'll put I'll dress Jordan Tutu. Man, that's tough. So he's out for 2 weeks. He comes back on the 25th. Since making those deals, we are 4-0-1. I mean, it's too early to grade the trade, but I'm gonna give myself an A, hard A. Oh, we lost to the Capitals. Never mind, B-. Lundberg's back. I don't even know like where you play Lundberg. This is the only issue with having an AHL team, that you want to keep like players on certain lines. Because shit like this ends up happening, or I have to keep changing everything. And I didn't change Gustav. Forsling's not playing on the first pairing. Alright, so we were winning before Pastrnak gets hurt. Pastrnak gets hurt, and we immediately start losing. Matt Hendricks for... Nope, I don't want Matt Hendricks, big guy. I don't need to have a 4th liner taking up $2 million of my cap space. Now, if you're new to GM mode, and my GM modes... I hate injuries, and I'm really skeptical about them, and really cautious. When players come back like that, I never put them back in the lineup. I know that I just did that with Forsling because I wasn't thinking. But if you put them back immediately when they're ready, and then you don't have the pop-up at the top of the screen that says this player is recovered from an injury, they'll get hurt immediately the next game. I don't know if it's a bug or if it's just the game telling you that you shouldn't be putting a player back in, but I always wait until they're recovered before I put them in. So I might miss them out for a couple more games. Alright, the song I just put on is really having me doubt my words here. Okay, there we go. I don't know, the fucking dude rapping was just in perfect tempo with my talking. Alright, so let's get Pasternak back in there, get him back on the second line. 39 points in 42 games. It's pretty good, man. That's fucking really good. How's Teravainen doing? Now, like I said before, he's going to be somebody that progresses fairly nicely. He's got 29 points in 46 games. Not awful. And Carolina's not real good in this game to start. I mean, they're not real good in real life either. I mean, they're Chicago 2.0. So where are we at? We're third in the division. 4 points on a wild card spot. Where's the other wild card spot? Fucking Duncan Keith, man. 53 points. Are you kidding me? Alright, so Pacific, so 53 points is the wild card spot. I mean, we're doing fine. We're still averaging 3 goals a game. We're giving up a bit more. But, I mean, we had such a good defensive start that doesn't surprise me. We kind of came back down to earth. And I did trade a two-way forward for a playmaker. So Duncan Keith has 53 points in 49 games. I have 2 guys that are point per game player. One of them's a defenseman. Are you... What? How? Jonathan Toews, 43 points. He's cooled down. Artemi Panarin has 40 points, but he's got 18 goals. Pasternak, he's got 39 and 42, which is really good. But he's only been here for a couple games. Anisimov, 31 and 49, not awful. Teravainen, 29 and 46. Richard Panik, 22 and 49. I mean, so we're getting decent. Rasmussen has 10 goals. Kruger has 8 goals. Still some minuses on the bottom 6, but Polka Van Riemsdyk isn't working either. But that might be more a combination of them being a bottom 6 pairing at 81 overalls and playing with bottom 6 players. I still can't believe Duncan Keith has 53 points in 49 games. Like, the only defenseman I see put with points like that is Carlson. Carlson and maybe Brent Burns. But Brent Burns is pretty defensive in this game. 27, 20, Thomas Vanek for a first? Are you kidding me? Thomas Vanek is not worth a first round pick. Get the fuck out of here. Well, actually, he is. He's worth my first round pick because I'm winning games now. He's got 23 goals. He's got 42 points in 51 games. Man, that's tempting. Because he could slot in that second line. And my second line could be Anisimov, Vanek, Pasternak. And all I'm trading a first round pick. Let's Dahlstrom and Radke. Alright, so let's come back to this. I actually kind of like that Vanek deal. I mean, our team's winning, so I don't want to shake it up too much. But let's see if I can get Thomas Vanek for not a first round pick. Because obviously they're trying to trade out of the playoffs because they're the Red Wings and they're awful in this game. And they stay awful for several seasons. So he's got fairly high trade value. So who is it? Dahlstrom and Radke? Radke? Alright, so neither of them have any trade value whatsoever. So yeah, that's pretty low. So I would pretty much have to put a first. So is that... My first round pick's that good, huh? Can I give them next year's first? Would you take that instead? Trade rejected. I would probably have to throw in a third here. Let's give them Winnipeg's. So... Oh wow, that actually... Now, my thought process behind swapping out the first round picks is... Sorry, just make sure my lineup looked good there. I've edited the rosters for the first 2 seasons where the first rounds are, you know, useful. Because if you play GM mode, you know that... Actually, no, I want Pasternak on the... I want Teravainen on the third line. sorry, I keep running myself off topic. I've edited the first 2 prospect pools so that the first couple rounds are decent. Because in GM mode, there's no, like, barely any players outside the top 5 do anything. So I want to stay in the first round of the first year's draft as much as possible. So by trading next year's first, I don't have a first through a third next year, but we're really... Pasternak is 20, Teravainen's 22, Vanek's 33, but he only makes 2.4. The guy's putting up almost point per game numbers at 33 years old, and he's only making $2.4 million. Honestly, I think that's a steal. I don't want your fucking Matt Hendricks. Get out of here. And I gave up 2 shitty defensive prospects. I mean, I don't... Oh, Teravainen's been hurt. Oh my goodness, injured with a concussion. How long is he out for? We're only in February? Shit. Well, at least he's on the 3rd line now. So this doesn't hurt too bad to replace. Who do I even have scratched on this team? McClement and Rasmussen. Let's get McClement in there. I don't think McClement or Rasmussen's going to make it on this team. I would like him to, but I just don't think he's going to. Get Panic on his shooting side. Yeah, 2.4. I wonder if he takes 2.4 in the offseason. Because he would be a decent second-line sniper. Because at 34, he won't... His overall won't start to drop yet. It's at magic age of 35 is when you start to drop. So if I can get a second year out of Thomas Vanek... ideally, I want to keep this team as a playoff team. Alex Hemsky... See, he makes $4 million. I'm absolutely not making that deal. Even if it was only for 2 shitty prospects, I'm not making that deal because he makes $4 million. But my goal is to keep this team fairly competitive each season. Try to avoid a full-on rebuild, because I just did a full-on rebuild with San Jose. I don't want Alex Hemsky. But I feel like I might need to do a rebuild, because this team is going to age. Because Duncan Keith's going to eventually go. I plan on trading Brent Seabrook before his trade value drops. Anisimov's 28. Kane and Taze are both kind of getting there. So we're first in the division now. Well, Winnipeg's fell hard. But we're first in the division, 35, 19, and 8. We've really turned it around. I think those trades have really made us a better team. Offensively, we're still 3.1. Defensively, we're still 2.5. Power play, we're at 23. This is something that the Hawks don't normally have, is a good power play. So I like to pat myself on the back for that. We have the 3rd best penalty kill in the division, 81%. Not terrible, not great, but hey, I'll take it. 80% is always something to strive for. Good home and away splits. Player-wise, how we looking? Patrick Kane has 66 points. Duncan Keith has 66 points. How are these guys higher than point per games? Panarin has 25 goals. Kane has 29. Vanek has 25. Pasternak's kind of slowed down, but I think the injury kind of played into that. Jonathan Taze has 56 points. I mean, he's a two-way center. He's got good offensive stats, don't get me wrong, but he's definitely a two-way center on that first line. Panarin might get a... He's already an 89. I might get a 90 overall Panarin here. That'd be nice. I think the past 2 GM modes I've done, he's only gotten to an 88. 57 points, man. Teravainen, 34 points, 54 games. Not bad. Again, we have a lot of scoring now. We have 15, 14, 12, 13. Lots of double-digit scorers. Rasmussen was doing good. I mean, he's probably our best bottom 6 guy, but he's just not fitting into Ville Polka really struggling. But again, 22 years old, he just needs to play. And if the team's doing this well with him struggling that bad, I'm okay with it. He's a plus 27. Is that Seabrook? Yeah. Seabrook has 28 points. I like where our team's headed. I'm loving the Vanek edition. 46 points in 60 games. And ideally, I should be able to sign him for a little cheaper on the offseason. How's Crawford doing? Crawford, 235, 27 wins, 920 save percentage, 4 shutouts, so he's looking good. That's good. It's nice to have a team that already has an 90 overall goalie, but he is 32. So I'm going to have to keep that in mind. I'm probably going to have to draft a goalie pretty early. How is my AHL? How are Schmaltz and Mott doing? Carrick has 39 points. He's got 94 penalty minutes. Jesus Christ, stay out of the box, dude. Mott's got 33 points. Where's Nick Schmaltz? 15 and 28. Really got to turn my phone off. Not the best. He's a minus 13, but I don't have any scorers on that first line. That first line is Tyler Mott, who's a sniper, and Spencer. I don't have a playmaker on that first line. I probably should put Spencer Abbott on that first line. No. Never mind. That one away. Tanner Caro. Yeah, my AHL team's just kind of meh. What's Forsling doing? Forsling is a minus 7. My AHL team sucks. Kind of to be expected, though. I don't really have anybody down there that's worth anything. I mean, Schmaltz and... I think Hinestroza is down there now, isn't he? Did I ever set my lines when Hinestroza got sent down? I keep going too far. 15 minutes. We're going to go ahead and end year 1 this video. Let me just make sure my lines are okay. Shit, I didn't have Hinestroza in the lineup. God damn it. That probably makes this first line even better. Fuck. That's my bad. I'm sure somebody's bitching at me in the comments. At least I hope somebody noticed. I have to get Forsling up here. That sucks. So he missed out on a lot of games, probably. Yeah, he hasn't played a single game down here. Fuck. Well, he'll get the end of the year, at least. They'll probably, honestly, these guys will probably end up being down here next season, too. I don't see them getting the highest progression. Nice to see our team we look like the team that I expected us to be. Let's go ahead and finish out the season. I want to see if Duncan Keith can finish as a point per game. Because that's damn impressive if he can. I'm also going to be a little more diligent on showing all of my team's stats at the end of the season. Because I just got done with the Sharks and the Oilers. In my last video, I put together a spreadsheet for season-by-season breakdowns. But I noticed as I was rewatching the videos for all my stats, I didn't bother to look at all the stats, so I have a lot of glaring holes. So that's something I'm going to be a little more diligent on. What am I doing? Teravainen, right. Get Turbo back in the lineup. Excuse me. How do I have 3 grinders on the 4th line, so who do I scratch? Let's just, let's do it this way. Let's best lines it, and we'll put Pasternak, and then Panic, and then Bush. Vanek shoots right-handed, yep. Is he still... Okay, he scored a goal. 31 for Kane, 27 for Panarin. Oh, can I have 3 30-goal scorers, please? I would love that. Chalmerson's 90-89. I really want to get this third pairing taken care of, but I think they just need to play. It didn't miss my AHL, right? No, okay, cool. Alright, so let's finish off the season. See if we can get 30-goal scorers. 3 30-goal scorers. Love that Thomas Vanek just kind of landed in my lap. I had to give up quite a bit to get him, but... honestly, my first-round picks are going to be fairly useless. Especially at pick 30, hopefully. So we'll see if... basically, all those third-round picks that I got for prospects just... turned into Thomas Vanek, Turbo Teravainen, and David Pasternak. So, I mean, Artemi Panarin has been hurt. That's not good. Let's just assistant coach replace him because he's only going to miss 4 games. So we've got, I think, Jordan Tutu playing first-line minutes here. Get a Tutu, protect... oh, he's already back. Maybe he saw who took his spot and he was like, nope, no, no, no. We're not doing this. I want to wait for that little notification at the top of the screen, make sure he's recovered. Actually, I can sim to this day because he won't miss a game. Plus, if you've played GM mode and you accidentally sim a game with somebody healthy scratched, and they're not supposed to be healthy scratched, their morale plummets, and it takes like 2.5 years to get it back to normal. So that's the one thing I try to avoid the most is morale drops, because they're the hardest thing to combat. Hey, he's back. Alright, cool. I still think it's funny that the second that I say that I'm going to leave Jordan Tutu on the first line for Artemi Panarin's injury, he's like, what? No, I'm good. I'm ready. Get me out there, coach. Oh, it's Jay McClement. Okay, well, still. Get Panarin there. Yep. Oh, Richard Panik, 20 goals on the year. Nice, I like it. Panarin's been hurt. Kane almost has 40. See, this is also another thing I'm not used to. I'm not used to having guys that might win the Art Ross Trophy or the Maurice Richard. Like, my last Well, I guess that was Washington, and Ovechkin was pretty much each season. And then I traded Ovechkin for Patrick Laine, so. But with the Sharks and the Oilers, I really didn't have any Art Ross candidates. McDavid had a couple decent seasons, but I was never able to put... I'd space out my scoring usually. I don't rely on one line. As you can kind of see with the Hawks here, that Vanek trade really kind of spread out our scoring. Or Vanek and Pastrnak, I should say. Alright, let's just get to the playoffs without an injury, please. Teravainen got hurt, but it was only a one-game thing. Can we end the year with 5 straight wins? No, right? Because I said something? Yep. Lose to the Kings in the last game of the season. That's okay. We get the No! Not Colorado. Oh, God, no. No, not the Avalanche. Again, if you've watched my GM modes, you know how much of a bitch Colorado is for me. They are my kryptonite. Fucking 8 seed Colorado knocks out my President's Trophy winning Edmonton Oilers and Sharks. Alright, so let's look at the points. I gotta see this. Patrick Kane, 92 points in 82 games. Duncan Keith just missed being point per game player, 79 points. Panarin just missed scoring 30 goals. Thomas Vanek did, though. Jonathan Toews had 21 goals. Richard Panik had 20. Anisimov almost had 20. That second line really kicked it off. Look at that plus minus for that first D pairing and first line. Through the roof. Holy shit. That is sick. Kruger, -1. Still not terrible. How did Polka finish? -6, so they kicked it off at the end of the season. That's good. That's good. That's what I want to see. Lots of guys with only half the season played. God, turn off your phone, dumbass. Sorry, I keep forgetting. Corey Crawford, 233, 37 wins, 921 save percentage, 5 shutouts. Good season, good season. I think that's pretty much on par with his normal stats. Wins are about the same, save percentage is about the same. Goals against is roughly where it's supposed to be. Yeah, so, I mean, yeah, he's pretty much right where he needs to be. Alright, now I want to see if, what's-his-face, won the Art Ross. Patrick Kane. Oh, that's goaltenders. That's not going to tell me anything. Don't think a goaltender's going to win the Art Ross. Come on. Oh, Steven Stamkos, 101 points. That motherfucker. Holy Ovechkin, 69 goals? What the fuck? That's the most I've ever seen him score. He almost hit 70 goals. God damn. Patrick Kane, a good 4th in points with 92. He's probably third in goal scoring too, wasn't he? Oh, he was 4th. Tarasenko had 45. Of course he did. God damn. Man, Stamkos at 101. He didn't even play every game. Jesus Christ. That's insane. Alright, let me look at my team stats so that I have it for a future breakdown video. 105 points. Where did we finish league-wise? Finished third overall. Not bad. Tampa Bay and San Jose ahead of us. Buffalo with 100 points. Look out. Alright, so let's go back to our division. 7 points ahead of the Wild. We get the Colorado Avalanche. Ugh. I'll go over the matchup next video before the playoffs start. 311, so our goals stay the same, so do our goals against. Still above 20%, still above 80%. That is a successful season, if I do say so myself. I think our trades were good. I'm going to have to wait and see if I can get some quality re-signs, but either way, we are ready for the playoffs. Feel free to leave your predictions in the comments below for the Colorado Avalanche series. I haven't decided if I'm going to do... If I decide to do it, it'll be 2 series in the video. It'll be the Chicago-Colorado series, and then I will play the winner of the Minnesota-St. Louis series. So if you want to give your predictions for that as well, feel free. Remember to leave a like if you enjoyed the video, or if you made it this far in the video. It's the best way to spread the series. And as always, thank you for watching. And I will see you on, what, Friday? Yeah, I think Friday.